What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm MoedotJ. We are locked in. This is episode 3 of The Shy. And we know last week we had a little college tour. We went out there. Kev ended up, gambling a little bit on the game, but came into peer pressure. He got towed up. I'm talking about he drinking, smoking, doing all that. Came home, hangover, throwing up. And the last thing we seen was Kiesha. They were at the hospital. She was getting her ultrasound, and it looks like she might be keeping this baby. But before we get into this episode, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you want to be a part of this, hit your subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button. It's the easiest thing you can do. Now, this week, we get to pick up where we left off. We did just hear that the mayor defunded the police. And I asked the question last week, how do you guys feel about that? I think the city's about to be turned upside down, but I'm not going to hold you up. Let's jump into it. This is episode 3 of The Shy. One thing we know, Kiesha, she's eating up all the snacks in here. Kev, he just hates it. Every time he's looking for some chips, she's eating it up. And Mama, she talking about, look, you got to at least eat healthy for the kid. If you're going to eat up all the food, at least eat healthy for the kid. Keisha's like, oh well. So Mom is trying to tell her, hey, look, we're going to have dinner tonight at 7 o'clock. I'm trying this new lasagna. Kiesha like, forget that. She goes upstairs. And we got Kevin over here. He all dressed up and spiffy. Looks like he recovered from that weekend of drinking. Now, on the other hand, Kev is over here. He's watching YouTube or something on his phone. And his mom's trying to get through his head. Like, listen, this piece of paper is a year. Each line is a year of your life. And if you mess up early, then it's going to be hard to try to make up for it on the end. And he's like, oh, I'm not trying to hear this. But he goes on a spill of a lot of people messed up early in life and they made up for it later on in his life. He names off Oprah. He names off Allen Iverson. His mom, she's like, dang, you're right. You're putting up some good points. But what she's trying to say is the better you do, the easier it is growing up from there. Now, it turns out Kev is actually suspended because of probably what happened on a little college tour. He's in ISS, which is in-school suspension. The school I went to at first, we didn't have that, just straight OSS. I'm talking about hood. But once my parents moved to the suburb, they did have ISS, and I tell you, that's the worst thing ever, just sitting in there. It's like jail. Turns out Jake is also suspended. Now he's in the front with Shy. We know Shy got released from prison, and Trig actually picked him up. But it looks like Shad he's really a bad influence. He's smoking weed. He's in here and he's playing the game with him before school. And he's like, oh, yeah, Jake got suspended for getting some head on Instagram Live. She got OnlyFans. And Trig's like, hey, dog, she's only like 15 probably. He's like, well, I'm just giving you the facts. I don't know why they gave us this part, but they could have just said, saying he got suspended for that. But what we start to notice with Trig is he's looking, he's like, man, maybe it's not a good idea for Shy to be here. He's smoking, he's influencing my brother to do ignorant stuff. So he tells Jake, nah, get ready. You got to go to school. He's like, but I'm suspended. And he didn't know the concept of ISS and OSS. So he's like, all right, get dressed. I'm going to take you to school. And he looks over at Shy and tells him to put the weed out, man. And also, if you're going to be living here rent free, you need to be cleaning up or something. And Shy's like, man, I ain't nobody's maid. But listen, if he takes you in, you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to contribute to something around the house. So for Trig, he's actually stepping up because he doesn't want Jake to go down that road. He wants Jake to actually be better. Last time we seen Tiff, she was in the bed laid up with a man named Dante, one of her clients. Now, any man named Dante, he's stealing your girl. Fellas, if your girl knows a dude named Dante, do not let her be around Dante one-on-one alone. Not at all. Now, Emmett's been sitting here this whole time because he's been thinking, dang, I really messed up and I could be losing Tiff. So she comes home. He's like, where you been? And first thing she does is check him and tells him, take that bass out of your voice. And he's like, where you been? So, of course, he asks where you was at. She said with a client. He says, who? Dante. And right when she said Dante, you knew he was like, damn, I told you, a man named Dante, he gonna take your girl. So he says, are you effing him? She says, yeah, and he gives better head than you. At that point, you can't even say nothing. Like, damn. Now, it's one thing for you to go off and cheat before you're married, but it's another thing for your wife to come back and tell you she just smashed a dude. Mind you, she didn't take no shower. She smashed you, got up, smashed him, and then came back. No shower in between. And she about to go lay down with her funky tail in your bed. You messing up, Emmett. Otis over here being smooth, he's talking to the lady and he's talking about what would you do with $5 million? Because with us defunding the police, that's how much they spend every day, or maybe even more. We're going to give it to your organization. Just don't spend it in one place. Now we know something is up. He's doing more interacting with her, I think, for a personal gain than actual business and helping the community out. But at the same time, we hear Trig busting in because Trig's like, you need to be paying attention to this. Since the mayor is defunding the police, all of the white police officers are saying, well, you know what, we're defunded. Let's see how the city of Chicago does without us. Now, this is going to be very tough on the city because you may have defunded police, which is only taken away from all the incentives and extra crap that they be doing. Their day-to-day operations is already covered. Defunding the police is just all of the extra for the task force and everything they have. But these dudes, they're just saying, we're done. We're not going to do anything. You still need some sort of police presence around the city. So she comes up with a great idea. Trig's in there talking about we need to come up with a plan to figure out what we're going to do. And she's like, how about you, young man? How about you help me spend this money in the community? Since we're taking it from the police, we might as well use it for the community. And you seem to know what you're talking about. And we know Douda, or should I say Otis at this point, he's like, nah, that's not no good idea. Because he don't want any of that money in Trig's hands. This has to be one of the worst feelings. Now, Emmett is banging on the door. Tiff, come out of there. She actually took a shower before she got in that bed, people. But he's banging on the door. Come out of there. And she's like, no, you're not my daddy. And he's like, well, yeah, because you at least know me. And the only thing he could think about going through his mind is, did he pull out? And she's like, well, we both came a lot of times. I really can't remember. That's the worst feeling ever, to know that your wife slept with a dude and he probably busted all up in that thing. And now you got to wonder, now if she is pregnant, you got to wonder, is it mine or is it his? The problem is really on her. I mean, they got a kid together, but if it is another dude's, then I wouldn't know how to deal with that because I'm never putting myself in this type of situation. But one thing I can say is I'm not taking care of another man's kids. I tell you that. On a serious note, we do know that Jada, she has came down with cancer. Now, they didn't tell us what kind of cancer it was, but cancer is cancer. It's something no one should ever have to come to. But she's in here talking to the doctor, and the doctor is saying, as far as what we know now, we can start your chemo within the next week. And when it comes to cancer, you do want to start your chemo as soon as possible. Well, at a healthy stage in the process. You want to kind of start it as soon as possible. Now, the thing about chemo is it drains you a lot. My mother went through chemo, my aunt, my sister. So, I mean, cancer runs in my family, but chemo is something serious, and it's a huge step that you have to take, but you will need somebody there for you because you're not going to be able to drive or anything after that. One thing Jada wants is Nina not to know about this cancer, but eventually you're going to have to tell her something because they said Nina has a third eye. But the thing is, Jada knows if Nina knows, she's going to tell Kiesha, and Kiesha just talks to anybody. When you have this kind of situation going on in your life, especially a traumatic one like this, you really don't want anyone to know because you have to cope with it yourself. So as of right now, she just wants to keep it in between these two. Dom comes in and Emmett doesn't have anything. He can't be at the house because he has to look at Tiff. So he has to clear his mind, and he's at work early. He's over here prepping the food and everything. Dom comes in. What's wrong with you? And he said, man, I told Tiff about us. And she's like, why would you do that? He said, same reason you told my pops. But she's going to say, dang, now she's going to be mad at me. And he's like, yeah, but she's mad at me right now. And she's like, she should be. That was one of my friends. You know, I was getting cool with her. Well, if you were getting cool with her, she should be mad at you too. You guys work together and you didn't tell her nothing. You smiling in her face and you smashed her dude. But he's like, well, she's smashing Dante now. And now Dom's like, Dante? Oh, shoot. I know Dante from back in the day. He's like, both y'all smashing? She's like, nah, he's like a cousin to me. So Emmett is thinking about all the wrong things. Like, come on, Emmett, you got to get right, man. Papa is always thinking forward. Now, what he's doing is putting up signs that says black-owned business. And Emmett's like, everybody knows this is black-owned. But what Papa knows is, look, with the police defunded, and rioting and looting going on. Oh no, we need signs up because we don't want people breaking in here, and I want to be gainfully employed after this. Emmy talking about, should I get a gun? He's like, nah, you'll probably just shoot yourself. Let's just get these signs up because I can't run this business by myself. Rosalind and Mr. St. John, they're talking to Otis and they're like, hey, well, mainly Rosalind, hey, you can't change the whole system like this. Plus, you're a black politician. You can't be out here acting like Trump because he's white. They get away with more than us. I don't know how to wing people, but they get away with more than us. And he's like, well, we're going to run it my way. Now, Mr. St. John, when he gets up there and they start talking to him, he's like, it's not too hard. We might be able to do this. If we can be the first city to bring the blacks and the police and fix their problem, then the Olympics will be begging to come to Chicago. Now, I don't know if they'll be begging to come to Chicago, but it will be a good look for the city. And just a side note, in Kansas City, Missouri, where I'm from, my cousin Khalid Abdul-Qadir, he actually has a project like this where they're working with the police. They actually did a music video where they had a police officer rapping against a black guy, but the black guy wrote each person's verse and they got the whole police station out. They recorded a nice thing. I'll put the link in the description. Now, this part is a little weird to me. Imani's downstairs and they're in the little barbershop and they in there laughing it up. Ha ha ha. Some dude comes in with a girl. And he's like, I need her hair done. Imani's like, does she have an appointment? He's like, don't need one. Now, one of the dudes over in the very back, you see him. As soon as he turns around, look, he's like, and he walks off, probably looked at the hair like, damn, it's going to be a lot of work. Now, the man that brought her in, he sits down. He doesn't say much, but he has a chain on. He's smoking a cigarette. Imani's like, hey, don't do that in here. So he takes a puff of the cigarette, and then he throws it on the ground. But Imani doesn't do nothing because at this point, whoever this guy is, he probably means business. So Imani just takes the girl and she's comforting her and she's like, what do you want? She's talking to her, pretty much letting her know, hey, you're in safe hands, because she doesn't know what's really going on with this girl. When I tell you in-school suspension is the worst, I used to be in there at least maybe once every other month. Oh my God, it's terrible. But they're sitting in here and they have a white teacher. Now, there's always a teacher that's in there with you. Usually they give you your homework. But he knows the situation that Jake and Kev have went through with the police. So what he's saying is, man, this country, they can't oppress you and then expect you to just go out here and be free like nothing's wrong. So what he does is he gives them a proposition. Hey, if you guys just write an essay of what happened to you, then I'll let you guys leave, because he has to have something to show his boss that, hey, they was in school suspension, but they were actually doing some work. So he's like, write an essay. Kev says, man, forget it. There's got to be a page. I'm about to knock it out so I can get out of here. Jake, on the other hand, he's like, man, I don't know. But I think that will be good, because I always say this. You have to talk about what happened to you. If you don't talk about what happened to you, then it's just going to be built up in you, and that's not going to be good for anybody. So express yourself on that paper, Kev. It looks like Shad is the maid. Imani got his ass running around the city talking about, Shad, where my stuff at? But it turns out Shad knows this dude, and this dude's like, hey, man, why you ain't hit me up, man? I heard you got out. Shad like, man, I be trying to move in silence. Obviously, he's not trying to contact with this guy because he's going to lead you back down the wrong path. Now, he's like, man, I'm about to go get something to eat. Now, the guy says, hey, I'm going to roll with you then. This gives Imani a one-on-one with this young lady, and we get to find out more about her. Obviously, something is wrong with this young lady, because Imani asks, is everything good? Once the dude leaves, now she's starting to show her actual emotions, and she's probably about to cry. Now, all I can think about is trafficking. That's the only thing going through my head in this situation, but we're going to find out in a minute. Gemma reads his essay and she's like, oh man, this is actually pretty good. He's like, yeah, you know, I just did that to get up out of here. Now, we know she does the morning show over the intercom system. And what she asked Kev is, hey, with this, let me interview you for the thing. It's only a 10-minute show. I'll probably talk to you for about 5 minutes. And you know, Kev, he's kind of in his own world now. We know they kind of got into it on the tour where he said he didn't want to talk about certain things with her. But he said, oh, that's some nerd stuff. So I'm going to talk to you later. And he walks off. Now, you see Gemma, she's opening up to him and she wants him to open up to her, especially after what happened. But Kev, he's still in his own world right now. Now, Gemma, she just got turned down by her boyfriend. So she's down and out about it. Like, But she turns around and that frown turns into a smile when she sees Jake. Oh, Jake, can I read your little essay? He's like, man, I ain't do that goofy stuff. She's like, well, let me interview you for my show, because I don't like talking to these white people. They don't know anything. And he's like, man, I ain't doing that. I don't like talking to white people, period. And I was like, that's probably the same answer I would have gave. But when I say it begins, yeah, she's going to start feeling Jake and they're going to end up being together. I can see this coming. Instead of going to get some food, these fools went and got some drink. So they in here drinking and stuff. Now, this guy, he's telling Shy, man, you like getting bossed around by Imani? He's like, yeah, it's cool because he just got out of jail. So he has to get a job. He has to keep a consistent job. And he has to have a known place to stay in. So Trig hooked him up with both. Now, over here, we don't discriminate. And this guy, he's drinking like, dog, that ain't no girl. That's a nigga in a dress. Now, Shy's starting to think, man, what? Are you for real? He's like, yeah, man. So now this is going to have Shy probably tripping out and it's about to mess up everything, all because of what this man is saying. Who cares if it's a trend? It's a job, bro. Do your thing. She doing hair. She living her life. It is not bothering y'all at all. Jada's going through it. And guess who pops up? Emmett comes over with all of his problems. Ma, and she like, hey, boy, you got to learn how to knock and stuff. Now, she's in her pajamas, you know what I'm saying? Her lingerie, because old Sway's in the room doing his thing. So she's getting dressed, and Emmett's over here talking about all his problems. Man, I think Tiff's going to leave me. Not knowing that your mom actually has something going on. Now, Sway comes out, and of course, Emmett gets mad. Man, you got to get him out of here. He's only 2 years older than me. But she's like, Emmett, I need to talk to you, because she wants to tell him, hey, you know, I'm going through stuff. I got some medical problems. I have cancer. But she doesn't get to do that because Emmett's making it all about himself. He's yelling and everything. And then he storms out talking about, you going to choose him over me? What is this, baby boy? Man, get up out of here. You are an adult and you are married, man. Get out of here, bro. It turns out it does look like Trig has a plan. So they go down to the church. And what they do is they tell everybody, look, there is a civil war going on amongst our own people. But what we need to do is, since the police, they're going to just be off. They're not going to be working since they're defunded. The mayor's giving us money. So if you call our organization instead of the police, we can send black people out there to try to solve whatever the situation is. They also come up with forms and tells everybody, hey, listen, we have these forms we want you to fill out. If there's any special skill that you have, put it on there so we'll know, okay, if it's a family issue, this person is good with talking to family matters. If it's youth, then it's this and this. So the community can come together and actually police the community themselves. So it is good that they actually have a plan. Right after this monumental meeting, they actually get a call. Okay, what's the address? We'll be right there. And Trig's like, well, wait, we're just going to pull up. We should probably pull up with like 4 or 5 people because you don't know what's going to be happening. You might go to a house, somebody ain't got a gun up in that thing, and we going over there unprepared. Man, I'm just going to stay back and answer the calls. I'm not going to lie to you. Like I said, the first thing that popped in my mind was either sex trafficking or it was an abusive relationship with this young lady. Now, Imani's saying she needs help. We need to help get her out of the situation. And Imani's friends are telling her, hey, we can't do that. We'll probably go over there and we get our ass whooped. That's the same thing I was talking about with the community outreach that Trig is doing. Now, they're saying, hey, if she wants to leave that situation, she has to do it on her own. Then also, the one on the left says, well, you should send Trig over there and do it because, you know, he deals with them. That's still putting somebody in danger. It could be multiple people over there. So instead of putting yourself in danger, you're saying put Trig in danger to go over there. I never understood that. Yeah, men are here to protect women, but that's still a dangerous situation for them too. Now, I don't know how they're going to get this young lady, but it looks like they really need. Exactly what I was predicting. Now, they got that first call. They go over here. It looks like a domestic dispute. They come in here. Stuff is being thrown in the hallways and stuff. Now, Trig, he's over there trying to calm the dude down. Hey, man, let's, you know what I'm saying? So they get the girl out of harm's way. And even the girl's like, who the hell are y'all? Now, on the other hand, Trig is over here and he's like, hey, bro, calm down. But these people don't know y'all. Y'all don't have any identification on you. It looks like y'all just 2 random people off the street. I just see this kind of stuff happening. This man doesn't know who Trig is. Trig is like, hey, bro, calm down. Let's take a walk. He punches Trig. And then this other man pulls a gun on him. You have to have something identifying yourself like, hey, we're coming in here, but it's still a dangerous situation. You don't know what these people got going on in their lives. You don't know what they have in their house. It's a dangerous situation walking into this, man. You can get killed over stuff like this. Intervening in stuff that you ain't got no business in. It's sad, but it's true. Kiesha over at Emmy's eating good, knowing she got to be at home at 7 for that lasagna. You know what I'm saying? Y'all supposed to be at home eating dinner tonight. But she knows Emmett better than almost anybody, so she's looking at him like, is everything all right? He's like, yeah, man, why something got to be wrong? She makes a joke like, hey, even after I'm pregnant, do I get free food? He's like, we'll see, man, because it's getting expensive. Now, Tiffany shows up with the baby. She tells Emmett, she doesn't even really talk to Emmett. She says, hey to Kiesha, but she tells Emmett, I got to run some errands. Can you watch the kid? He's like, yeah, I got him. And, Emmett, he's trying to, I'm not going to say much. I'm going to let her do whatever talking she needs to do because he's trying to get back in her good graces. But he's also thinking, is she really about to go make some moves or is she going back to Dante's? That's the only thing running through his mind. Kiesha was right. She knew something was wrong with Emmett. And he's sitting there and he's like, man, I told her the truth. But she's smashing one of her clients. I told you that's the only thing that's going to be running through a man's mind. Everything else that's going on in life, nah. But if your wife is smashing somebody and you know who she's smashing, it's the worst thing, man. It's the worst thing ever. But, it's the game you play. I think she took it too far because they were married when it happened and his happened before the marriage. But either way, Emmett messed up. She doing her thing and now you got to sit around and wait it out. They have the man and the woman, both of them separated. Now, Miss Tracy's actually in here and she's I won't say counseling, but she's comforting to the lady and trying to figure out what's going on. The lady says the man lost a job and she's been doing her best to hold down the bills and everything. Now, Tracy asks how they at least went to therapy. And the girl says they don't have the money for it. And if they did, he wouldn't go. Now, Tracy's starting to give her options. All right, look, if he's abusive to you and if you want to leave, there's steps that you can take and I can help you do that. And the lady, she's actually listening to it because sometimes all you need is somebody to talk to. They have a child within the house and Tracy's telling them, you guys got to be strong for this child. So the lady, she's listening to it and it's good to hear it from somebody else. Now Trig down there, his eyes all messed up. This young man, Jamal, done punched him in his face, played by Vic Mensa. And Trig is like, hey, do you got family members you can go stay with? Because I don't think it's a good idea for you to be staying here. And the dude Jamal's like, man, I'm staying right here. Now the big dude in the back like, no, you're not. Now Tracy's bringing him down the back. And Trig's trying to explain to him, man, I know exactly who you are. Because he's been there before. You're fighting the world and you feel like you got to come home and fight your girl. So he's just saying if y'all take some time apart, that's probably going to be the best thing. Because if you don't feel like you're ready for a relationship and you just want to do you, then be on your own. So they give him his bag and they actually convince him to leave. So that's a good thing. Trig comes home from a long day, black eye, and he just told Jamal, man, I know who you are, man. You're fighting against the world and then you go home to fight against your girl. And the first thing Imani tells him, yeah, Nook's girl came by and we got to help her. He's like, hey, man, I'm off duty and I don't do no sex trafficking. You know what I'm saying? Like, she chose to be in that life. And Imani's like, oh, sex trafficking ain't important to you? You need to go sleep on the couch. He's like, I'm not going to go talk to Nook. I can't tell him what to do. He doesn't work for me. And Imani's like, no one works for you. I'm telling you, putting a man in that situation, that's not his business. That's a very dangerous thing. Whatever Nook and them got going on, that's what Nook and them got going on. Putting Trig in that situation, we just seen how quick a man can get a gun pulled on him for getting in business that isn't his. But Imani kicks him out, tells him to go lay on the couch. Oh man, Trig he's becoming a modern day hero. It's interview time, and forget what the interview is talking about. Gemma puts her hand on Jake, and Kev is in class. Ooh, because he ain't worried about the interview. He's worried about Gemma over here putting her hand on Jake. But y'all want to know why we say F the police? Because that's just how we feeling. For real. Now, they're really trying to get the Olympics, at least get some votes to get the Olympics into Chicago. The Olympics being brought into any city is going to be major for it, but especially a black city like Chicago, after the history of Chicago, that would be real major. But now Tracy comes in and they ask her about how was they, their first night with the community protection. She's like, it was all right, it was rough, but we got it done. Now, Otis says, hey, what do you think about this? And she's saying, bringing the Olympics in, that's not really going to do anything. Our young black men and women, they need someone to look out for them. And I understand what she means. Now, it will bring in jobs, but we can get jobs for them now. We just need to make sure that these kids are being raised properly and they have the actual protection that they need. Because if the Olympics come, what does that mean? There's going to have to be more police involved. And what are these police already doing? They're already targeting the black community. So really, if you think about it in the long run, that's not doing anything but making it worse, because security is going to be heightened with every single country in one city. We get Dom and Tiffany in the room finally, since they both know. Well, Dom already knew, but now that Tiffany finally knows that Dom has sex with Emmett, they're in the room, but they are business partners. So it turned out better than I thought it would, though. The ladies get to talking. They give, the little icebreaker. How you feeling? They're going to like it. Everybody's like free weed and food, right? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of awkward at first. Hey, if you're going to take edibles, don't eat the whole thing. If you're new to it, try to do something with like 5 milligrams. If you're jumping into 10 milligrams, you're eating a whole cookie or a brownie, you're going to be towed up. Take it slow. Ease your way in there, rookies. But they actually talk about it. And Dom, she's like, are we good? Tiffany's like, yeah, I'm done being mad, because being mad about a situation is only going to make you tired from it. So she's like, hey, just don't have sex with him again. And Dom is like, man, my hands are full with his damn daddy. Well, it looks like this little event's going good. Tiff's over here serving some of her boys, and they over here, they having a good time. And they pretty much look at Tiff like, you finally got you some. And she's like, yeah, the only thing is it was too good. I keep telling y'all, a dude named Dante, don't let y'all girls around any men named Dante, because they going to lay it down and your girl might not come back. But what these two gentlemen are telling her is, hey, y'all are married. Y'all need to come to an understanding that if y'all gonna have sex with somebody, y'all should at least know who it is. Now, hey, there are people that have those kind of relationships. They have those open relationships where you can go have sex with somebody as long as I know who it is. So, I mean, if that's what you want to do, and Tiff was thinking about it, she looked over at Dom, so I don't know if she's going to make that decision or not. I think they're going to get through this and make their relationship work. This community protection program, everybody's like, man, do we got to do this every single night? Trig in the back like, yeah, we got to do this, man. We can't just do it one night and then, hey, we'll see y'all guys on Friday, and we just let the whole week go by. And everybody's like, nah, we don't want the police to come back. And guess who comes in? Mr. Otis. Otis tells everybody, look, as long as we keep it quiet in here, the police won't come back, and our plan works. We can keep the police defunded because we're showing we can patrol our own area. And this shows that all that excessive force that the police are doing is unnecessary, because look how we're doing it. We're not hurting nobody. We're not killing anybody, but we're keeping the crime down. And that does make sense. And that's good to see. I told you, Otis, he might do his job, but he's looking for something more than just work. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, oh, man, I'm tired. I'm gonna go ahead and head on home. And what she said, well, can I join you? And of course, he might as well loosen the tie, like, why not? I gave y'all the disclaimer. If you're new to these edibles, take it slow. Sometimes that THC level will tear you up. Just start with 5 milligrams. Don't eat the whole thing. Jada comes out that thing like, oh man. Sway's carrying. And of course, Emmett comes out, Mom, I can take you home. And she's like, nah, Sway got me. Go back in. Go have fun. He really don't like this, because this dude's only a couple years older than him. And I feel him on that. I'd be damned. Now, Darnell, he been popping these things all day. He's been eating since before they were setting up. And I tell you, sometimes these edibles, they take you to another level, but it feels so good. And you can tell Darnell's messed up. One reason is because he doesn't have his earpiece in. If he doesn't have his earpiece in, we know he ain't on his game. And he gets up like, hey, listen up, people. I don't want to be high no more. And everybody just starts laughing because you can tell he is toe up. Now look at Kev. You played her off. You told her no. Kev, hey, Gemma, what you doing? I miss you. She left my dog on red. Yeah, he's going through it, man. That puppy love is going to be the worst. Luckily for me, we didn't really have, well, we had text messaging back then, but you only had like 100 texts, because after that, they charging your ass. Everybody's going through it. Kiesha's in here. She's looking down at her stomach. She's pregnant. She's all alone. You got mama downstairs setting up the dinner table. Man, this family, it sucks. Tiffany just comes to Emmy and just tells me flat out, hey, I want to have an open marriage. Let's see where it goes. Now, Emmy's like, wait. You want me to have sex with other women? I only want you. She's like, look, we've been messing around. We may have grew apart. I do love you, but let's just see where it goes. Like I said, we've been dealing with each other from high school. If some other girl may catch your eye, some dude may catch my eye. Now we know Dante. Damn, Dante didn't call her eyes. She said it may be too good. So Emmy's like, well, if this is what you want, she like, let's just try it and see where it goes. So Emmy, he's like, whatever she wants to do, I'm gonna be with it, because he's trying to get back good on that good side. Otis. They get in there. We got wine pouring. Talking about we make a good team. And you already know what that leads to. We adults, it's the late night. We got the windows open. We got the wine flowing. It's time to get it cracking. But guess what? Rosalind comes in, but it ain't what you think, people. Rosalind over there, she watching Otis get it in. That's what you call an open marriage right there, people. Matter of fact, let me watch. You know what I'm saying? What swingers do. They, oh, okay. Do your thing. So, hey, this looks like we about to have a crazy episode 4. All right, there you go. Episode 3 of The Shot. Let me know what you think. Do you think the open marriage is going to work between Emmett and Tiffany? Let me know what y'all think below. But I'm MoedotJ. Thanks for watching. If you like the content on the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Be back next week for episode 4. I'm MoedotJ, and I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.